Welcome to the Edge Up podcast with your hosts Reed and Glenn from Hawaii Trading Academy.
When we talk to a lot of traders and just anyone in general, we ask them like, why do you want to trade full time? Why is that a goal for them?
Yeah.
And the common thing that everyone says is they want to replace their 9 to 5 with trading. So I want to ask you, man, like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, is it possible? Of course, we know it's possible,
hmm
but I just want your input and like explain, like, yeah, expand on that, man.
Yeah, I mean the idea, there's I guess the social media it sells that dream life of being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, and unfortunately our 9 to 5 jobs can't give us that kind of lifestyle. And here comes trading, right? And social media kind of sells that perception. And after talking to many traders, and just really understanding their motive behind it, a thing that came up to me was like, has everyone really like took the time to really understand and ask themselves why do they want to replace their 9 to 5 with trading? What does it really take to make it reality? And so I think this is going to be a perfect um time to just really dive in deep with it, man, and just talk about like the behind the scenes on how to even make it reality, or how to even think about taking making that transition to become a successful trader.
Yeah, so like I have a follow-up question here. It's like how does that look like in reality? Like what are your recommendations on like what is the first thing that needs to happen
Yeah, I
in
think
your mind?
right. So like people, this is just be take some good time to do some self-reflection, grab a notepad and just write it out, or talk it out and get clear on your why, you know? Why do you want to start this journey? Why trading for one? Could be other things, could be business, it could be real estate, could be um, doing other things. But why trading? And then you got to ask yourself, like, okay, like, well, what is it gonna take for me to be successful in trading? And or if I go into trading, how does this affect my family, my loved ones, and my lifestyle, right? And really think about, and you kind of just trace it back to your why. Okay, like, what are you trying to achieve with trading? The other thing um we talked about was actually crunching the numbers, right? Like, what do what does it look like for you to replace your current income with trading? And that once you put that out on paper, it starts to become real, because they start to open up your mind and your think on seeing the actual numbers that's involved. Say it, you need $10,000 a month to live. Okay. If you do the math, if you have a $120,000 account, and that's what, 10% for the year? No, wait, I'm off.
Wait, 120.
10%. That's okay. $100,000. Sorry.
Yep, yep.
If you have a 100K account, you make 10%. That's 10K.
Yeah.
That could supplement your lifestyle, but you still got to account for taxes and fees, commissions, and whatnot. So the number should be a little higher. Now, then it kind of brings it down to you, like, okay, like, yeah, you guys got to just do the math. What is your living expenses right now, right? And what kind of income does trading need to provide you, right? And then go from there, like, what size of account would you need to bring in these kinds of returns? Everyone wish they could start off with wants to like start off with a 5K account and double it and triple it every month. Ideally, that's not real. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like, what would you like start off, Read, with for people who want to even begin to think about leaving their 9 to 5.
Yeah, you got me thinking, man. Like, we talked about social media, or you mentioned social media in the beginning with the Lambos, the Rolex, the watches, the fancifications, all this stuff. And a lot of it is, and even of course, I speak from myself, experience, falling for a lot of it. Trading from the beach. We live in Hawaii, yeah, and we got the beach everywhere. I've tried trading from the beach, bro, and that shit is not luxurious at all. It's not fun. Like, I get it if you're from a cold climate, like your dream is to trade from the beach. Like, I'm telling you firsthand, you don't want to be trading. You don't want to bring your laptop at the beach and trade. There's sun glare, there's sand. You enjoy
Oh,
the moment.
and
Okay,
get centipedes too, Brad. They'll just
bro.
creep up
Oh,
on
centipede.
your
At least in
laptop.
Hawaii, yeah. Like maybe like Florida, California, that could be a dream spot too. But
Right.
regardless, you don't bring your laptop. Don't be that person and bring your
Yeah.
laptop to the beach and trade.
Bring a Starlink on the sand, huh?
Yeah, you're not impressing anyone,
You
man.
know,
But no, but no, I digress. Moving on. Of course, and I mean, it leads into this. You got to change your mindset, right? The mindset has to change that, like, okay, it's not going to be all glitz and glamour all the way through. There's going to be those tough times, right? There's going to be time like we're going to lose. Like we talked about this where like trading is one of the only, if not it's the only profession I know that you could show up to the desk and lose money. Like, what other job out there you show up to work and you lose money, bro?
right.
Like,
Yep.
that I don't know any other job that's like that. And you could even call in sick and you could get paid for that.
Yep.
Whereas like trading is just a different beast, and I think that's something a mindset shift needs to happen, and you need to accept that. You need to accept the ups and downs and the turbulent nature of trading.
You was telling me this a story back in a few years ago where you did try to make that jump prematurely, you know? And
Yes.
yeah, talk
Yeah.
about that with your habits and your scheduling and whatnot.
Yeah, 100%. So like around 2018, I actually was unemployed, right? But I had a trading account, and I let another trader negatively influenced me, and he's like, "Well, guess what? You're basically a full-time trader now." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I am." And that was like the lie I told myself. But then at the same time, I'm 1 month, right? I made 2,400. And like this was off of like a small account, like $20,000 account, right? And I made, 2,400 at the end of the month. I was able to withdraw that. Well, guess what, bro? I withdrew all that and I still owed money. Like, I mean, I still had to pay off all my bills. It was not enough. And so, like, I just wasn't going in. And of course, it led me to stress. It led me to more drawdown after that win. So, um, these are just other things that you got to accept. You got to learn. You got to adapt. You got to have a direction, is
Yeah,
what I think. Is
right.
that I wasn't having a direction, bro. I wasn't disciplined. There's a lot of things, a lot of fixes that can happen.
Yeah,
Should happen.
what about like your habits with your scheduling and stuff? You were set on a schedule before
Yeah.
waking up and then like after you became a full-time trader.
Yeah.
How did your
Quotes,
habits change?
quotations. Yes, I mean, like, so when I was working, right, I would be like, okay, I have to be at work by 8. That means I'm waking up at 4, either maybe checking the charts if that's in my schedule, or usually, it's going to the gym, getting the blood flow, checking the charts, leaving for work, go to work. Boom. Okay, that's the morning schedule. So when I became quote unquote full time trading, I had no routine, man. And it wasn't even waking up. I was waking up whenever I wanted, doing whatever I wanted because I'm a full time trader. I live that egotistical trading mentality. And like, it was not healthy for my brain or myself and my habits. Like, I wasn't at my peak performance, both in trading and in externally in real life. So, um, leaving your 9 to 5, you definitely need to have direction before you implement it. You need to set at least a skeleton type schedule
Yeah.
of what you want to be or should be following. You know. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I think that's something big takeaway for me.
that's it. Because essentially, trading, like you're starting a business. Before you know it, folks, like just because it's trading doesn't mean it's still business at the end of the day. So you got to ask yourself, reframe what you're trying to achieve here, and ask yourself this, like, would you rush to quit your job to start this trading business? Right? The the wise people would say no, okay? Because like
Don't
I
do it.
said, no, you can't just decide to go start a business one day and just quit your job. Yes, there's the outliers and those one-offs that do it. Okay, it's not gonna they had didn't it didn't come easy. So, what we're trying to just bring thought here of this whole transition and this whole topic of leaving your 9 to 5, right? So we want to share some good pointers if you guys haven't thought about this, or to even start beginning to think about it. It has to make sense. You want to, when you're leaving your main source of income, it's not an easy feat, right? You got to do your due diligence. As we mentioned, you add up your annual expenses, put on a spreadsheet. That's one of my favorite things, spreadsheet, right? What it takes to live your current lifestyle. Really look at it, right? And include the taxes, include the um if you guys play cash flow called doodads, right? You got the unexpected expenses. That's what a doodad is, right? What it takes you to live your current lifestyle, take care of your family, figure out what kind of return, less taxes you would need to supplement that life, right? Don't forget about the, commissions, expenses, the subscriptions for the data, professional help if you're looking for tax people and whatnot, profession attorneys, education, mentorship costs, platform costs. Those things add up. If you got to get a new desktop or laptop to place trades, internet, all these little things do add up, and that's part of your business, right? So at the end of the day, you got to crunch it up those numbers and make it make sense. The second point we want to share is when you want to make
Can I
this
add something to
transition.
that real
Oh yeah,
quick,
go for
man?
it.
Yeah. So like speaking of like subscriptions and education, mentoring and all that is you don't want to be stagnant. Like I mentioned, like direction and everything. And in order to stay out of that stagnant zone is you guys need to look into education to further your and critique your trading and your mindset. Like push yourselves into uncomfortable situations. And that's like the way you look at your trading, your whole system. So just like wanted to add to that, like that's part of the whole having a direction is hiring out. And like
Yeah,
again, you could write them all off as a business once you
yeah,
um start incorporating everything.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
moving on.
just a little bit more on that, like the little hack I've been learning with successful people, they make it a priority for self-development, you know, and they put money towards that, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's just a testament to just their overall growth and overall just expanding their mind and what kind of um growth they see from beginning. The second point we want to share is building up a financial cushion, right? The trading as could because we know trading returns can be irregular. It's not the 9 to 5 we get paid every 2 weeks or bi-weekly, or get a salary for the year. You can have great weeks and great months, but you want to prepare for the worst case, right? Like what happens if you blow your account? What happens if you lose your funding? What happens when you're currently in a drawdown, So have that cushion of the rainy day fund, you know, uh I think Dave Ramsey, what, 3, 6 months of rainy day? Some people go as far as a year, right? And to me, I think a year could be actually like the minimum. Because, like I said, traders, if you look at track records, there's negative years. So you got to figure out that number. Figure out that number. Only you and your family should know. You and your spouse go over it and be like, what is that number? Do we need, that cushion of, 5, 10 grand a month? What does it look like? All right. And just figure that out.
Yeah, I want to say like you need to be specific with that number too. Like not just like I think, 15 to 20,000 is okay. It's
Yeah.
like no, set that number, say okay, we need $20,000 and then add a couple thousand to it. I mean
Yeah.
20,000 again, it's low end, but I'm just trying to put it into perspective that you need to have a specific number and then round up a little bit just for that extra buffer.
Yeah, because it does something to you. Knowing that you have a cushion you can lean on, that takes off the pressure in trading, you
Oh,
know.
definitely.
That
Definitely.
it doesn't help to have more pressure and like be more just think about more the money more though more so than placing a good trade or executing your system. So the third thing, having patience and keep learning. We kind of touched about the learning part. Say you're up and running with your system, it works. But you gotta see if things because the markets change, right? See if the market your system can be optimized. See if you can add another system, right? If it only performs in trends, what can it look like? You're gonna lose money in choppy markets. So what can you do for that, right? You got when you already have back tested your system, you just gotta give it time to expect the results. You're not gonna instantly get paid because you're implementing a strategy nowadays. It's live, right? The market will continue to do what it do. It is in charge. Okay. And especially with all these things happening, like over the weekend, we just had the action in Middle East, Iran and Israel, right? And like us here in Hawaii, we can't control that, right? We can't even control where tax dollars go. But we can control, like, we can't control what we try to get from the market, right? But we can control our risk. Okay. We can control whether we execute a trade and place a trade or not. Okay. We can
Yes, to
control that.
add to that, no position is a position. Remember that. You don't always have to buy or sell. You could sit out. That is a position to take.
That's right. That's right. Just have that patience. Does your back testing show that you have drawdown periods? Get some stats in. What does your average loss look like? That way you can start framing these things when you are dealing with it, dealing with a drawdown, dealing with losses. You're able to, you know, get yourself back into neutral and continue on with trading rather than having it a rougher time. So, um, those are like the three main things, but also we want to share um some other things to like kind of tie it in or take it beyond. Okay. Let's just say you're our full time, right? Then what, Reed? What happens after that?
Yeah. Hey, if you don't have a direction, you're gonna get lazy. You're gonna get into depressive state, not motivated to do anything. So yeah, you'll get complacent. You could be making money on month, and eventually you're gonna just feel burnt out for some reason. You're not reporting anywhere. No one. You're the head honcho of your own company, but for some reason you just nothing is satisfying you, and that's because there's no direction there. You got to ask yourself like, what are you working for? Because money really is only going to fill so many gaps in your life. So you need purpose. And if we could go down a rabbit hole of like how to find your purpose, what is purpose, but think of it as like trading is the vehicle. It's it's the fuel we need to stay committed is having that purpose, right? And you're gonna need that grit. You're gonna need that resilience because there's gonna be hard times in trading. So I'm not just talking about the losing months. I'm talking about the mental aspect of not feeling fulfilled. That's tough right there. And you're going to constantly hit the financial goals. Like you're going to keep extending that win. Like, okay, 100,000 in a month is my goal. Okay, I hit 100. Now let's go for a million. You're gonna hit these goals with trading, right? But that's only gonna fulfill a certain aspect. You need something deeper. You gotta start asking yourself, um, what's next, right? And usually, what's next is you have the end goal in mind, and you're working towards that. Just
Yeah.
like trading, it's the process, right? The process of becoming full time. It's not actually hitting that mark of, okay, I'm a full time trader. Then you ask what next, right?
Yeah.
It's the process that's the guiding light, and you need a consistent process that's gonna guide you even after trading. And that could just look like, okay, I want to help one more person learn how to trade and be successful like me. That could be your purpose. Or it could just be like, I want to educate my son, or do help a family member, or like I want to donate to a charity, or I'll take action. I wouldn't recommend making it a financial goal, but I know that drives a lot of people. And that's fine too, but have something deeper. Having a deeper fulfillment and a deeper motivation is going to make you, yeah, a lot more fulfilled in the long run.
Mm.
That's my opinion, man.
Uh,
Would you have
I
anything to
love how
say?
you talk about the process, man. The
Yeah.
process. I think if us as traders, we just focus on the process, or if anyone, like entrepreneurs, business owners, if they just
Yeah, it
focus
doesn't have to
on
be
the
trading.
process, yeah,
Yeah.
if you're process oriented, you will hit your goals. And we're talking about asking the question, what's next? There are people who hit all-time highs in their careers, whatever it may be, they're recognized, and then they just go into a deep spiral after. They stay complacent, they don't know what to do next. They're at the mountaintop, at the high, and they just drop to the valley. You know, and that question of what's next, it's like a moving target. It's like you're moving the finish line further. Why? Because we know we can go further. We hit the targets, right? So it's a challenge for us to be pushing, and it's also a calling for us to do more.
Yeah. The word I'm thinking of is potential. It's like
So
the only potential is your brain. Like you don't know your own potential. I mean, well, I'll say it this way. Only you know your own potential, but
yeah,
even then when you reach those goals and you feel like you're maxed out, that means your potential is even further. Oh, I never thought I could do this or make that or go that far or lift that much. And then you hit it and you're like, "Wow, I got more in me. I could do more." And like you said, you're going to be moving that goalpost further and further, and that's what you want.
yeah,
It's not unfulfillment where like, oh, I could never reach my goals. You want those goals to constantly be pulling you forward, rather than okay, making it easy and knocking it off. Okay, look how many goals I did in the year. All right, that's cool, but like you need to keep moving that goalpost further and further and further.
exactly. So bringing it back to the topic for today was leaving your 9 to 5 for trading. Set up those goalposts, set up those targets, right? And knock them out. What does it look like? But at the end of the day, after listening to this episode, take action, guys. Take action. Start answering the questions that we shared with you, and have answers for it. That way you're gonna start developing a sense of direction, and then go share it with someone, share with your
Yeah,
spouse.
celebrate. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Celebrate. Don't forget to celebrate those wins.
there
You
you go.
deserve to celebrate your wins, and that'll just recalibrate you, right? You're like, okay, hit it. All right, let's celebrate, and then bring it back down to neutral. Get those emotions, those feelings out of the way, and then you could recalibrate and push even further now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So those are our what do you call, those are our thoughts with this topic. Ultimately, we focus on the process. Enjoy, as Tom Bossa would say, enjoy the ride, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and share this with someone who you think could help. Whether you're looking to improve your trading mindset and growth, we'll provide you with the tools, tips, and inspiration you need to make your next breakthrough. So tune in and let's edge up together.